Welcome to SAT TV News. I am Desmond Joseph, your presenter. In our top stories, PM Skerrit not bothered by Lennox Linton leading UWP. Liat assures customers of his commitment to exemplary customer service. 7 killed in Cairo clashes. And in sports, Jamaican athletes test positive for banned substances. Details of these will follow. Welcome back. On Sunday, 15th July, a luncheon organized for a delegation of parliamentarians from the African region and the local Commonwealth Parliamentary Association was held. Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit, who was in attendance, spoke on the discussions.
We've always looked forward to engendering a closer relationship with Africa because of our historical and family connections. And I know in Africa, you also aspire to do the same. And through your visit, it is a clear manifestation of that intention. Because at the end of the day, we have the same struggles. We have the same challenges, historical and otherwise. And therefore, we need to meet from time to time, face to face, with a view to discussing the challenges, first of all, but also finding common solutions to these challenges.
In his address, Mr. Skerrit questioned, how do you battle with issues of underdevelopment, poverty, unemployment and exports of raw produce, and how do we work together towards addressing those challenges so we can create a better life for our citizens? Meanwhile, Speaker of the Malawi Parliament, Henry Banda, said the delegation is expected to benefit from the interaction with the host, Mrs. Alex Boyd-Knight.
We have in the CPA an agenda to promote women participation in decision-making positions, beginning with parliaments, and she has played that role extremely well. We come from Africa at this time around to touch base with her and her leadership on matters affecting the CPA, especially as we take this association to another level. A level where we intend to change the status of the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, a level where we would want also to change leadership in some areas, including the chairmanship of our association.
Mr. Banda believes that Mrs. Knight has the knowledge and guidance on how to steer this organization to greater heights. In other news, since making the announcement that Dominica will be investing a total of $8 million to the regional airline Liat earlier this year, Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit revealed that $3 million have been invested so far. However, he did indicate that the government has plans to invest into the regional carrier in the upcoming financial year. He noted with the new ATR 72-600 aircrafts, which will replace the aging Dash 8 fleet, they will certainly assist Dominica in addressing its air access problems. Liat recently announced that the French-manufactured ATR is being leased from the lessor GE Capital Aviation Services and is the first of a total of 8 ATR 68 seats, ATR 72-600 and 4 48 seats ATR 42-600s that will be introduced into its fleet. The introduction of these brand new ATR-600s in Liat's current fleet of 14 aircrafts is a part of the airline's restructuring plans aimed at fleet modernizing and network improvements.
We remain firm in our resolve that our investment in Liat is in Dominica's best interest. And anybody who tells you otherwise or who says otherwise really is playing politics. But so we've made $3 million so far into Liat, and we intend to keep to our public agreement with Liat and Dominican people of investing at least $8 million into Liat.
According to the Prime Minister at the last ALBA meeting in Venezuela, in addition to past discussions with the late Venezuelan President Hugo Chavez, the government addressed the possibility of Venezuela investing in Liat. This would aid in enhancing air access between Latin and South America and the Caribbean.
The government of Venezuela has indicated its interest in investing in Liat. And as a matter of fact, they gave to us, the shareholders, a draft agreement for consideration as to the terms and conditions of the government of Venezuela's investment in Liat. If you're to ask me whether I think this is a good move, I believe it is an absolutely good move. If we're to get Venezuela to invest in Liat and to provide Liat with the much needed financial and technical support required. But it could also mean additional business to Liat, because if you can get Conveyor to do the flights from Brazil and from Venezuela and from other Latin and South American countries and transport them to a hub in the Caribbean and then take them to their respective destinations within the Caribbean, that it means additional business for Liat.
So we intend to continue discussions with the government of Venezuela in respect to the draft agreement MOU, which was submitted to the shareholder governments for the consideration. Some aspects are straightforward, however, there are aspects that need to further discuss among ourselves at the existing shareholder, he explained. After this is done, the document will be sent back to the government of Venezuela for their approval. Liat, which flies to 21 destinations in the Caribbean, has put a price tag of US $100 million on its new fleet and said it is seeking to borrow between $60 to $70 US million from the Barbados-based Caribbean Development Bank. Liat's new aircraft, the ATR 72-600, made its inaugural flight into Dominica on Wednesday, June 26 at the Melvin Hall Airport. In other stories, social discrimination is plaguing business women in Dominica. This is according to the president of the Dominica National Council of Women, Mrs. Vania David. She explained that many people still live with the outdated mentality that certain businesses' deals or tasks are better performed by men.
Some assume women are incompetent in particularly fields of life. Some people would rather be with a businessman than a businesswoman. You might think this discrimination is uncommon. Just wait until you lose a business deal just because you are competing with a male counterpart. The best way to counteract this challenge of societal discrimination is to provide an excellent quality product and customer service with honesty and reliability. This is what makes business truly successful, and the buying public will prove this so.
She said change will not happen immediately, but it will eventually. Remember, it usually takes small businesses at least 5 years in which to become strong, to be financially successful, she explained. In more stories, Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit says that he is not worried by reports that investigative journalist Mr. Lennox Linton could be the next leader of the opposition United Workers' Party.
We would love that, as a matter of fact. I hope they elect him as the leader of the ULP. I mean, whether it's Edison James or... Because last year, about 3 of them were leaders, and last election, 3 were leaders, and we beat all of them. Ron Green was a leader, Sanford and Edison James. They were 3 leaders, they were co-leaders. So you can put all of them as leaders of the party. We will defeat them on the next polls. So whether it is Lennox Linton or whether it is, well, they can't call Sprague. I know how can they didn't call Sprague names and so on. But it could be Lennox, it could be Ronnie Isidore, it could be Sanford, and so forth. Any one of them is 6 1/2 dozen. So they're all the same.
Mr. Skerrit said he is in no way threatened if Mr. Linton does become the leader of UWP. This is how Mr. Skerrit responded to a question of the possibility of snap elections.
With this budget and other things I have to address, elections are on my mind at this time. So issue of snap election is not my mind at all. Elections will be when elections will be, and when the Prime Minister pursuant to the provisions of the Constitution advises the President. At this time, I am concerned about addressing the issues of unemployment among people and continue to improve the infrastructure of this country, addressing the issues of healthcare and the delivery of health services.
I am not saying elections are not important, but there are many more important things that at this time that I need to focus on. The Labour Party will be leading to return to office whenever elections are called, Mr. Skerritt noted. The present government, he said, is the only one that has a credible plan for the development of Dominica, and anyone who opposes this government does not have any positive plans for the development of the country, which is unfortunate. According to the Prime Minister, they have no idea how to deal with the issues confronting the Dominican people, as they have been in office for 14 years and nothing has come from that. I do not expect anything to come from them in the next 14 years, he said. In related stories, leader of the United Workers' Party, Honorable Edison James, has made it clear that he will be stepping down as political leader and will not be seeking re-election in the next general elections. One can't go on forever, he said. In an interview with SAT TV News, Mr. James said he had informed his party 3 weeks ago about his resignation, and subsequent to that, the party had decided to nominate journalist Lennox Linton to lead the United Workers' Party.
I also informed the National Executive of my decision, and consequent upon that, the matter of a leader to replace me had to be addressed, and the party is taking the necessary action as provided for in our Constitution to address that matter. This begins with the holding of a General Council meeting, I think next week, probably 27th, I think it is, at which meeting the Council, I suppose among other things, will decide on a date for the Delegates Conference, which is the body, according to our Constitution, which elects a political leader. So that's the process that has been set in train. I have represented the United Workers' Party, represented people of Marigot since 1990.
Mr. James will continue to support and assist the UWP as well as the people of his constituency in Marigot. I will ensure that the United Workers' Party under its new leadership does everything in its power to gain the confidence of the people and to get the country on the right path, stated Mr. James.
And even the government in office now acknowledges by its action that poverty is deepening in the country, and that is demonstrated by the fact of the Red Clinic. Because the Red Clinic, we are told, is designed to alleviate poverty, eliminate poverty. But every sitting of the Parliament, every meeting of the Parliament, the government comes back to the Parliament for approval of more money to fight poverty. It's logical that if you were in fact achieving the objective to alleviate and to eliminate poverty, you would not have to be coming back to the Parliament every occasion to get more money to fight this poverty.
The former UWP leader believes that the Marigot constituency has been neglected by the government. According to Mr. James, he has asked the government on numerous occasions for assistance with the roads in Marigot, and up to this date, not a thing has been done.
They have told us first that it would cost $980,000 to do the road. We didn't see any work done, so we raised the matter again in the Parliament. They told us it was going to be $1,090,000 to do the road. But it's a big project, so they will be doing some piecework, which, as it turned out, was just patching, with some cement and parish or something. So they did not even complete that work. That patchwork they did not even complete. And even up to now, there are persons who worked on that patchwork exercise who have not gotten paid. Lo and behold, not long after that, we heard that there seemed to have been some protest action in the Cottage constituency with respect to the condition of the road. And, at the flip of a finger, $1.5 million was found to do that road. We're not begrudging the people of the Cottage constituency.
Leader of the opposition, Honorable Hector John, also believes that his constituency Salisbury has been neglected for the same reasons.
We have about 10 to 12 miles of road that end up into Kahum, and the road is in a deplorable condition. We heard that through BAM, the banana adjustment measures, that will be getting some assistance to do some repairs. But the actual work from BAM will start somewhere in the next year, early next year. But right now we need some attention, urgency on the road, and nothing is being done. There's a part of the road in the Kahum area by Gabriel Lee Baptiste that was brought to the minister's attention. It has been undermined by the river, and maybe in the next couple of weeks, because you see, seeing the heavy rainfall that we have, we will not have a road in that area. And we have been asking for assistance. We have been begging. So that I'm saying we are worse than Marigot. We have been begging for Monrachet. Kulibishri as well.
Mr. John says that Kulibishri does not have a hurricane shelter due to the deplorable state of the Kulibishri Primary School. I wrote to the Prime Minister and was told that everything was passed on to the Ministry of Education, he said. Mr. John says he knows that Mr. James will always be there for the United Workers' Party and wished him all the best. In more news, Honorable Peter Sejal defended the Universal Secondary Program while addressing the people from the Castle community on Sunday, 15th July. The Education Minister has refuted allegations that the students of grade 6 do not have to work hard to move on to secondary school, as each child is now offered the opportunity to attain a high school education.
It has been going around Dominica that since the whole issue of universal secondary education was brought to the fore by the Dominica Labour Party government, that many people believe, well, every child now goes to secondary school, so you don't have to work hard. That could not be further from the truth. In fact, let me stick to correct this fallacy. The concept of universal secondary education seeks to ensure that every Dominican child is given an opportunity to attain secondary education.
Honorable Sejal said in the past, very few students were able to move on to secondary schools, not because of poor academic performances, but because of other situations that hindered them from doing so.
So in 2005, the Labour Party administration recognized that if Dominica is to take off economically, we must give every child that opportunity to attain secondary education.
The Minister for Education said that the government of Dominica has improved in that aspect.
Then after passing the exam and earning a place in high school, we pay a $500 contribution to every child who requires it, what we call a transfer grant, so we can assist the parents to provide for the needs of that child. And as if that is not enough, the government gives $500 to the parents. As if that is not enough, we know that some parents have difficulty providing the textbook. And so your father comes with a long list, a host of names, and he says to me, Peter, you must provide textbooks for these children because they are poor. And we provide textbooks at no cost to the children.
According to Mr. Sejal, the government has gone as far as providing uniforms, shoes, and school bags for the less fortunate students whose families cannot afford. 8 scholarships will be provided for students this year based on merit and need. The 14th International World Youth Day, an international Catholic event focused on religious faith and youth, will commence soon. The host city of World Youth Day 2013 will be Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, as announced by former Pope Benedict XVI at the end of the closing Mass of World Youth Day 2011 in Madrid, Spain. The events are scheduled to be held from July 23rd to 28th. Father Herman Chaplin gives more details.
We're talking this year of, millions of people, the Pope being from Argentina, and he of course having made such a great impact on the church. So this year, young people from all over the world will be gathering, and of course have started gathering in Brazil for this major world meeting of young Catholics.
The youth will be sharing as well as demonstrating their faith and ensuring that as Catholics they will proclaim to the world that Jesus Christ is indeed Lord. Due to the high cost of the venture, only a few delegates will represent Dominica in Brazil.
The last time I think it was held close to us was in Canada, and we had in the region of about 58 or 59 people, but this year being that expensive, we were not able to attract that big a delegation. But for sure, Dominica will be represented, and the group is very excited about it, and people are looking forward to this event.
Father Sharpless explains the role of the youth at World Youth Day.
Our role, like many other young persons from different parts of the world, is first of all, we have the first days, that's from Wednesday or full Wednesday, I think, up to Saturday, Sunday. We have every delegate from the various parts of the world. They go to various different parts of the diocese, different parishes, and so it's going to be, we meet the people, the young persons in the parish and the diocese. So it's called the Days in the Diocese.
Subsequent to the meeting, the major event will occur in Rio, where the Mass and opening ceremony will take place. The event will close with a Mass by Pope Francis. Okay, right now we're at the Fortune Hotel for the first time ever Security Expo hosted by the manager of Platinum Security, Kimo Astafan. Platinum Security Incorporated, a local private company owned by Mr. Kimo Astafan for over 15 years, has provided security services tailored to the commercial and residential markets. The expo covered education on security and the many options available to their market, information to help you choose the right system, and a presentation from Mr. Kimo Astafan.
How many times as a business owner, he say, she say, they fighting, and whoever is the biggest bullshitter is going to convince you. It's not that they tell the truth, it's that they can lie very well. So with intelligence, you can know. The alarm system is just not for intruders. It helps you protect your business. Let me give you the next example. Keypad. How many users can this hold? This hold 94 users. Most people don't have 94 employees. Most people don't even have 94 persons with keys. But they give you 94 users. Why not give everybody the same code? And why do you want to put 1, 2, 3, 4 at the code? It is standard default. People, I go by customers and say, can you put in your code? 1, 2, 3, 4. But it's easy. I say, yes, easy for the burglar too.
The expo also featured displays and interactive booths showcasing all the security systems mentioned previously. Mr. Astafan explained what a zone is and the different types of zones, as well as which security system suits certain homes.
So, I changed it, but should have changed it back. So what happened there is that it created a frequency instead of the glass break. Let me see who works now. So what we do is angle badly. Technically, the glass break is supposed to be on the ceiling, shooting a beam so. Okay, so it carries a wire. So sometimes people throw a rock, but you don't have a device on your, you don't have a device on your showroom or showcase.
Participants were given the opportunity to win prizes, products, and more.
But let me give you something. Nothing else? Maybe some typo. Nothing? Huh? Where? 300, how much? How much? 1,000. Well, that's what you get for just saying 1,000. What if you spend $1,000? Alright. Guys, I'm going to lively up the area because I don't want you guys to fall asleep. It's very important. Are we learning anything about alarm systems right now? Good. You want a break? Let's get up and come back. Wireless systems are important because there's two-way connectivity. You have to do a lot to get these things to be supervised. Extra resistors, double end of line. It is already inbuilt in the wireless system.
It is hoped that individuals understand the importance of purchasing a security system at the end of the exposition period. This has been a local segment of the news. Coming up next, regional highlights.